that line between prey and problem. Predators, whether they're wolves, corporations, or a rich hunter species with sleek ships, rely on you doing the obvious thing. Running, panicking, broadcasting your fear. It really makes you wonder what happens when a target just doesn't. When an entire colony chooses to be dull, controlled, and data-obsessed right in the face of something that lives for the chase. So as you settle in and let your day slide a bit further away, imagine this with me. A freight world at the edge of the trade lanes, built not for war but for avoiding stupid accidents. No grand fleet, no legendary heroes, just risk officers, cargo drones, and people who know their emergency drills by heart. And out there in the dark, a hunting party is closing in, expecting screams, chaos, and heat trails running wild. Instead, the colony goes quiet. Let's step into Kestrel Hollow, where you and I will meet Dr. Avery Shaw, a person who likes rules more than glory, and who is about to teach a proud predator culture what happens when humans simply refuse to act like prey. Out in the shipping lanes, most danger looks dull. It looks like stress cracks in metal, or ice building in a fuel line, or a missed inspection that could have caught both. It looks like a late cargo report, or a tired pilot, or a forgotten tool left inside a service panel. On Kestrel Hollow, danger was something people planned for, over and over, until it felt boring in the best way. Drills, checklists, practice runs, no drama. Just quiet care. So when hunters finally came out of the dark, they expected panic. They expected screams over open channels, bodies running in clear lines, heat trails bright and wild across their scopes. Instead, when the hunt began, Kestrel Hollow did something very strange. It got calm, very, very quiet. And for the first time in a long time, a proud predator culture met a target that refused to act like prey at all. This is the story of how a freight colony with cargo drones, safety drills, and patient minds took apart an old hunting ritual, not with guns, but with data and design. It is the story of how a system built to stop accidents learned how to stop sport killing. You are Dr. Avery Shaw, Risk and Resilience Officer for Kestrel Hollow. You like rules that work and dangers that make sense. You never asked to become part of a famous case study. But in the late 2300s, your quiet files and simple graphs will help change the rules of the galaxy, because you do something very dangerous. You refuse to act like prey. The first sign is a tiny change in the stars. You are in the dome's night control room, watching the usual slow drift of cargo lights along the main trade lane. The big haulers move steady and bright, their routes locked. Tugboats make short, sharp arcs between them, like careful insects between drifting ships. Then the system feed marks something else. 3 new heat spots slip out from behind a cold rock mass on the far side of Kestrel Hollow's weak little moon. They move like they are trying not to be seen. They are not on any schedule. They slide inward on soft burns, their trails thin and tight. Malik, you say, your voice steady. Do you see that? Beside you, Malik Carter leans forward in his chair. He is tall, with a tired smile most days. Tonight his face is sharp and blank. His hands move fast, calling up more feeds. Different bands of light show the same 3 quiet ships, creeping closer. I see them, he says. No registry, no transponder. Pattern looks wrong. You already know the word he is not saying. You know it from old reports and council bulletins. Veskari, not their whole people, not their navy. A private group, a hunting party. On the main screen, the ships bank in formation, nose to nose. Then spread out like claws. They move toward the planet's night side, toward the wide black of the freight yards and storage canyons. Elena Brooks steps into the room, still pulling on her jacket. Her hair is tied back in a rough knot. She looks at the feeds, then at you. Tell me it's a drill, she says. You wish you could. Drills are your world. Fires, fuel leaks, dome breaches, farm mold, minor riots over power cuts. You run models, list risks, talk people through calm steps. You like slow problems. You like problems that can be logged and tracked and filed. This is still a problem. It just has teeth. Sport incursion, you say quietly. Has to be. They are masking like smugglers, but the vector is wrong for a drop. Too spread for freight, too tight for a raid. Elena's mouth firms into a straight line. Council monitors. Last ping was 10 days out. Malik says. Nearest patrol is even farther. No fast response. You nod. This is what the hunters count on. Distance. Legal gray zones between quick words and slow ships. By the time someone important arrives, the game is over, and the law has to pick through excuses. Okay, you say. We stay inside our own drills until we know more. No heroics. No panic. You tap your badge. Your voice goes out through the internal net. Low and even, the way you have said the same words for fire drills and minor storms. Colony notice. Shift from green to amber. All staff move inside hard shelters. Standard lockdown. Repeat, standard lockdown. You press your thumb to the siren control. Outside in the freight yards and domes, the siren sounds once, clear and brief, then dies. No rising wail, no second call. Just a single short tone that every resident knows by heart. Conversations pause. Tools go still. People look up at each other, then move. In the farm domes, workers seal vents, shut plant rows, and walk in pairs to the inner rings. In the housing stacks, parents gather children and push them towards central halls, not running, just walking fast. In the freight yards, loaders park their rigs in tight lines that double as shields, then head for shelter doors set in reinforced walls. Lights dim across the outer rings of the colony. Non-essential power drops. No movement in the open. Good, you say. You feel your shoulders drop a little. The drills worked. People moved. No one screamed over the channel. No one yelled about pride or payback. On a split feed, you can now see the other side. The Veskari ships break and drop. Their hulls are long and lean, coated in dark panels that slide and tilt. To hide heat and light, strips of low, soft light stay on in the floors, pointing the way inside. Airlocks seal with slow, firm sounds. Camera eyes swing outward, their lenses changing, their coverage shifting. From orbit for anyone looking down, Kestrel Hollow changes shape. The bright scatter of life in the open yards and walkways shrinks back. The domes glow faint and low. Traffic near the surface stops. Heat patterns smooth out into a single dull mass, like a small animal curling in on itself. Lockdown complete, Malik says, watching the status streams. Stripes of metallic color mark small changes in angle and speed. Their engines burn hot and then cool fast, keeping bright flares short. They come in like sharks expecting schools of fish below. Inside the lead ship, Raxel Vorn watches the target world grow larger in the forward view. Raxel is older than most of the hunters behind, with scar lines on both arms from past kills. His culture counts scars the way some count trophies. Each mark is a story about a being who tried to flee. He has studied humans for years. He knows their fear patterns from old recordings. He knows how they tend to run in straight lines, how they cry to hide in crowds, how they call for help on open, bands in wild bursts. Remember, he says to his team, voice calm, no system, assets, no military, only stray workers, outer yards, transit routes. The rules are clear. We hunt only what stands outside law. His hunters click fangs in agreement. They have paid for this trip. They have filed the right papers with the right officials who looked away at the right moments. They believe this is a sport event, not war. They believe their contracts and signatures make it clean. The first small craft break away from the main hulls and fall toward the planet's night. They ride dark, barely burning, just enough to steer. They aim for the lit shapes of freight spires and dome farms, where heat and life usually spill in soft halos. As they cut into the upper air, Malik shifts more power to the Collins' external sensors. Dull-looking maintenance units wake from idle loops. Old cargo drones rise from their racks, eyes warming, rotors turning. They rise with no running lights and bank into holding patterns high above the domes. Drones in position, Malik says. Wide net only, no active countermeasures. You nod. Heavy guns would change the rules. Heavy guns would shift this from sport into consoles. Response would be slow and messy. You do not want a war. You want a report that anyone can read and understand. The first Veskari landing happens in a shallow ravine just beyond the freight yards. Their skimmer dips, flares, and settles on a cushion of magnetic force. 4 hunters drop out. Their bodies are lean and strong, cloaked in adaptive cloth that shifts color with the stone. Their eyes shine faintly in the dark, tuned to low light. They move in a loose diamond, rifles held low. Senses wide, they expect to smell fear on the air. They find clean dust, old coolant, and the slow breath of machines. Outer yard, mutters one of them. Scanning, no cover. Perfect. They cross the hard ground toward the faint glow of the cargo towers. Their boots leave almost no marks. An overhead drone, high and still, marks every step. You see their heat signatures appear on Malik's grid. 4 bright shapes moving with trained pattern. You note spacing, speed, the way the rear hunter checks their backs every 13 seconds. Log interval, you say, 13 seconds. Tag as pack behavior. Elena looks at you. We are logging already? You answer with a small, tight smile. This is what we do, you say. We study patterns. Accidents, hazards, predators use patterns too. The more they act like themselves, the easier they are to manage. On the ground, the hunters reach the first line of parked loaders. They stop. There are no workers in sight, no loose tools, no dropped gear, no blinking lights from active jobs. The loaders sit nose to tail, tight, with no easy gaps to slip between. Strange, one hunter says. They ran fast. Raxel's voice comes in from the link. Good, he says, they are moving. They are outside. Drive them further out. Take those that try to flee. Save the slowest for last. The hunter nearest the loaders reaches out, touches the metal. The machine is cold. It has been off for a while. Trail is old, the hunter says slowly. Lockdown, maybe, or drill. Raxel laughs. Humans love drills, he says. They will break them as soon as real fear hits. Find a straggler. The rest will follow. They move on, slipping between cargo stacks, expecting a gap. A late worker, a light left on by tired hands. They see only stillness, dark surfaces, closed doors, dull heat from sleep mode machines. On your screen, you watch them try to make sense of a target that is not behaving. The colony for now is holding its breath. The hunters are here. The game they think they are playing has begun. But in Kestrel Hollows, quiet halls, and sealed domes, families sit in central rooms with low lights. Children hold their toys close. Grown-ups watch status lines scrolling on walls and listen to calm voices from the safety teams. They do not race outside. They do not shout threats. They sit still and let the drills hold. Far above, the Veskari ships drift in their orbits, waiting for the first screams of prey. All they hear is the soft hum of colony systems settling into a deep, planned quiet. In the control room, the lights are low and cool. The screens are the brightest things in the space, stacked with feeds from every edge of the colony. Your chair is dug in now, feet planted, mind moving the way it does during a storm morning. You are not thinking about honor, or courage, or payback. The target is not us. You say more to yourself than to anyone. The target is how we usually act. Elena leans over the back of your chair. Say it cleaner, she says. I need to brief the shelter leads in 2 minutes. You take a slow breath. The Veskari are not just hunting bodies, you say. They are hunting habits, patterns, the usual ways scared people move. If we stop acting like their idea of prey, half of their plan breaks right away. Malik nods, eyes still on the grid. So we changed the pattern, he says. Whole colony, top to bottom. Outside the domes, the Veskari teams are spreading. Malik marks them with different colors. One team pushes toward the farm domes. Another circles the freight perimeter, looking for transit points. A third waits near a narrow canyon that opens toward older storage yards. They are trying to herd us, you say. Push us away from structures, out into open ground. How do we not play? Elena asks. You bring up an old file. It shows a simple model from your early days on Earth, when you dealt with human-wildlife conflicts in highland farms. The shapes are different, but the ideas are the same. Rule 1, you say. No one outside alone. Predators love strays. So we remove that, pairs or more. Always. With check-ins, Elena opens a line to the shelter teams. Lock shields, she says. No solo trips, not even for 20 meters. All movement in pairs, minimum. Confirm by sector. You open a second file. It shows herd animals on a plain, bunched tight when danger came near. That was not enough back then, but the logic still helps. Rule 2, you say. We control where people are. They do not get to chase free shapes. Now there are only a few narrow lines, like tiny rivers for maintenance crews and guards. Rule 3, you say. We change our heat. They hunt with senses tuned for panic. High spikes, fast bursts. We make our heat smooth, slow, steady like a machine park, not a crowd. Malik grins faintly. I can help with that, he says. He sends codes to power hubs across Kestrel Hollow, so we keep almost everyone in inner shelters. Small trained teams handle all repairs and checks. Malik adds new layers to the grid. Assigning routes now, he says. Blue lines for essential movement. Red for no-go. Drones will track heat and location. Any stray signal, we pull them back. You watch as the colony's life shifts into channels. The wide sprawl of random motion from a normal day is gone. He lowers climate, set points in some outer halls, raises them a little in inner rooms. Vent systems shift. Warmth from big groups of people spreads into walls and floors more evenly. From above, on a Veskari scope, the colony begins to look less like a set of soft bodies and more like one dull, steady object. Outside, in the dark, a hunter near the farms frowns at his scanner. Heat is strange, he says into his link. Too even, no spikes. Equipment glitch, someone replies. Trust your eyes. Drones first. A calm voice answers. Now confirmed, Dr. Shaw. People are, in core rings. We will hold. You feel a small warmth behind your ribs. This is why the drills matter. People know what to do. They trust that not moving is still a kind of action. On the grid, the hunters near the farms prowl the dome edges, looking for doors that should be ajar, vents that should leak heat, workers who should be smoking or talking. He lifts his head and looks toward the farm domes. The clear panels shine with a faint inner light. Rows of crops stand in long arcs, neat and still. There is no movement between them. You open a channel. Farm leads, you say. Reduce visible movement. Stay in inner corridors. If something fails in the outer dome, do not rush. Call it in. They see sealed seams. Cool glass. Silent soil. You watch them move slowly from point to point, confused but still sure of themselves. They think we are hiding, Elena says. We are, you answer, but not the way they think. We are not hiding as prey. We are hiding data. About us, about how we react. You bring up a fresh layer on the screen. It shows every Veskari line of movement, every pause, every glance back. You log each repeat. See here, you say, pointing. Every 8 minutes, the outer team checks the old service canal. They think maybe someone will use it to sneak between domes. Elena frowns, but no one would, she says. We sealed that route a year ago. Exactly, you say. They are using their own idea of a weak point, not ours. So we tag that 8-minute pulse. If we ever want to move there, we know their rhythm. Malik laughs softly. You are turning them into a safety audit, he says. I am turning them into a case study, you answer. Risk behavior under stress. It is just that this time the hazard thinks it is the hero. You push the model further. Rule 4, you say. We create false normals, patterns they expect just off. Like decoy routes? Malik asks. Yes, you say, but not bait for killing them, just bait for watching them. Just bait for watching them. We give them something that looks a little like prey behavior, so they show us more of their moves. Malik brings up the map of old service roads beyond the main domes. We could light up some ground carts, he says. Remote control. Send them along old fence lines with warm cargo in the back. No people. Just enough heat to look like bodies huddled in the open. You think it through. The routes would pull hunters away from real shelter doors. The carts could be armored just enough to waste their time. Do it, you say. Slow, jittery pattern, not smooth. Make it look like scared workers. Within minutes, 3 old carts rumble awake in a dark depot. Their small engines turn over. Panels glow just enough for low cameras to catch. Inside, heaters switch on, making warm blobs above the expected human range. They pull out and start to move along empty tracks outside the main domes with small, uneven changes of speed. On a ridge above, Two Veskari hunters see the shapes and tents with pleasure. There one breathes. Late runners, 2, maybe 3. Raxel's voice cuts in. Do not rush, he says. Drive them further out. Take your time. The hunters do not know that the runners are old carts with nobody inside. They do not know that 3 overhead drones are watching their every step, recording every word. You tag their new pattern. Note you say to the log. Veskari show patience when prey seems tired, not when prey seems hidden. They like the chase more than the strike. Elena watches the log fill. You really think this is about their thrill? She asks. Yes, you say. For them, the story matters. A clean chase, a clever trick, a dramatic finish. If we remove all that, the sport falls flat. So we keep asking, how do we make this boring for them? It feels strange to say boring in the middle of a live hunt, but it is the right word. Not safe yet, not peaceful, but dull. Procedural, like a long checklist with no surprises. Rule 5, you say. No duels, no face-to-face showdowns. Nothing they can retell later as a glorious fight. We deal in distance, data, and slow pressure. Elena nods sharply, so no ground squads chasing them with rifles, she says. Right, you answer. We are not trying to beat them in their story. We are trying to pull them into ours. A safety review. A legal case. Malik turns to a different bank of feeds. Tiny sensors come online along the canyon edges where older storage yards cut into the rock. They were simple maintenance tools till now, set to watch for erosion or small slides. Bringing the canyon mesh online, he says. Pressure pads, motion lines, microcams. If they go there, we will have them from every angle. You look at the top view of the whole colony and it's near land. Dots of active sensors pulse like faint stars. Lines of possible paths stretch between them. Kestrel Hollow was never built as a fortress. It was built as a place where accidents would be caught early, where small failures would not grow into disasters. But that kind of design has its own strength. Deterrence ecology, you say? Softly, Elena looks over. Your old Earth thing, she asks. Yes, you say. Shape the world so that bad behavior is just annoying, hard, not worth it. You make the risk higher than the reward. Invisibly, you tap the map. We make it hard to find us, hard to get a clean shot, hard to feel like a hero. Every step they take, something small goes against them. A signal fails. A view is blocked, no big battles, just 1,000 small frictions. Malik stretches his fingers, then dives into the control code. I can scramble local channels in little bursts, he says. Nothing traceable at range. Short-range noise just enough to cut their squad talk when they most want it. Do it only when we see clear patterns, you say. When they lose touch, do they bunch up? Spread out? Rage? Freeze? He nods. On the outer feed, the first hunters reach the narrow mouth of the storage canyon. They peer in. Old cargo stacks rise on each side, like cliffs of metal. The path bends left, then right, with blind corners. It looks like a classic trap from their point of view. They know this. They do not care. They came for danger. Canyon sector live, Malik says. All eyes on them. You zoom in on Raxel's face. His eyes gleam with pleasure. He moves with care, but not fear. This place feels safe to him. Hard stone, high walls, tight space. It feels like a good arena for a final chase. He likes this, Elena mutters. He thinks the world is playing his game. Not for long, you say. The dummy lantern bearer is now halfway down the canyon. Its track script makes it turn slowly, as if in panic, eyes searching for a way out. Raxel steps into the open, chest lifting. He raises a hand. Stop, he says. Enjoy this. The last moment before reveal. His hunters fan out, some to the left, some to the right. Rifles lift, claws flex. Their hearts beat faster, heat pulsing in their necks and chests. The low sound buzz presses harder now. The false shadows tremble on the ground. Target yield. Raxel calls in trade speech, his voice grand. Your run is over. Stand and be. You cut his stage. Lights. You say. Malik slams the main key. The canyon explodes with white. Floodlights buried in the upper edges of the cargo stacks blaze to full power, washing every surface in clean, sharp brightness. The fake shadows vanish. The Veskari's eyes, tuned for low light, clamp down in pain. Several cry out and drop to one knee. At the same time, the lantern in the dummy's hand shuts off. In that blank second, your drones drop. 4 of them fall from their high positions, rotors biting air, spreading out with simple, steady motion. They stop in a square over the bowl and turn on their own lights and speakers. Attention, Veskari hunting party, says a calm human voice from all 4 drones at once. It is your voice recorded an hour ago. You are now inside a managed safety operation. You are being recorded in full. Your legal cover is no longer valid. The hunters jerk, stunned. This is not the sound they expected. No pleading, no angry threat, just a flat notice, like the start of a workplace briefing. Raxel blinks hard, forcing his eyes open in the glare. His teeth show again. But now there is less joy. Jammers, he snarls. They are trying to blind us. Drop the drones. Take the target. Do not fire, your recorded voice says, before he can pull the trigger. Any act of lethal force from this point will be logged as piracy under Council Code. Your sponsors will lose trade status. Your clan will face sanctions. He hesitates. The words hit him in a place bullets cannot reach. Trade status, clan, sanctions. Those are his real lifelines. Bluff, spits one hunter. They cannot reach the council in time. Raxel is not so sure. The glare hardens every line on his face. The low sound hum still fuzzies his focus. His link keeps dropping. He feels for the first time in years out of control of his own hunt. You watch his heart rate spike on your graph. Now, you say. engage disruption fields. Thin plates along the canyon walls, hidden between old crates, glow to life. They do not burn or blast. Instead, they throw out tight cones of interference that twist certain signals and senses. Veskari depth sight, tuned for natural stone and shadow, finds strange static where solid walls should be. Their inner ears, used to reading balance, feel a slight false tilt. Their rifles' smart sights lose lock, flicking between targets and throwing alerts. Hunters stagger. What are they doing? One shouts. My scope is blind. My feet are wrong. Another gasps. The ground is shifting. It is not, but the sense of it steals. Their grace, you turn on the restraint grid in stages. First, a ring near the outer edge of the bowl rises from the ground. Like a low fog, it is a field tuned just below full hardness, brushing their boots and ankles with a faint, thick drag. It feels like trying to walk in shallow mud. Containment ring 1, Malik says. Soft, no visible markers. The hunters step, feel the drag, and pull harder. Their efforts slow them rather than speed them. It is just field resistance. Jump it if you must. Focus on the target. He looks up. The target moves. Again. The dummy's track pulls it back a short distance, then stalls. The lantern is still dark. In the harsh white light, it is clearly just a coat on a frame. Anyone calm would see the lie. But they are not calm. You, Raxel hisses to his nearest hunter. Take it. Fast. The others. Circle left and right. We push out of this bowl. They are trying to pen us. You watch him adapt. He is not a fool. He knows he is inside something built by minds like his. You respect that even as you plan to break it. Feel 2, you say, half strength. Narrow arcs. Leave clear lanes we control. Malik nods and sends the next pattern. From under several cargo stacks, units fire out quick-growing foam lances that harden in bars across chosen gaps. They do not aim at bodies, they aim at exits. Within seconds, 3 of the natural paths out of the bowl are blocked by tall, pale ridges. You leave 2 narrow lanes open. They look like escape routes. They are not. They are funnels. The hunters curse. They are penning us, someone shouts. Raxel maps the new shapes in his head. He still sees options. Take the left lane, he orders. Fast, while they are still building. We break through, call the ship, and reframe this as an ambush. The council will howl, but it will pass. You watch his plan form and fail in the same moment. Shift drone positions, you say. Cover the left lane. 2 drones slide sideways with stiff, simple grace. They are not fast in a showy way. They are precise. Like tools in a shop, they drop a little lower, making the space above the left lane feel even tighter. Your voice plays again. Veskari hunting party. Your exit routes are under observation, the recording says. Your biometric stress levels are being recorded. Your equipment signatures are logged. Hunters flinch. Biometric. One starts. Shut up. Raxel snaps. He feels trapped between two kinds of shame. If he runs now, he looks weak to his own pack. If he stays and lets humans wrap him in their slow, dull net, he looks weak to his clan elders. There is no glorious path through this. On your side of the screen, you feel no joy in that. You feel only a solid sense of fit. This is what deterrence looks like when it works. Not fire and thunder, but a steady press of small, boring controls that leave no good move for the aggressor. Field 3. You say quietly, restraint nets. Gentle, no fractures. Malik slides a finger from within the ground itself, seams open, and throw up arcs of soft glow energy that whip forward like slow waves. They are not fast strikes. They move with clear visible speed, enough for any hunter to see and try to dodge. 2 do dodge, rolling aside, 3 more leap. But each motion takes effort in the drag field at their feet, and the false tilt in their ears throws them off. The waves curl around legs and arms, then harden into stiff bands. A hunter crashes to her knees, legs pinned. Another tumbles sideways and ends up with his gun arm locked to his body. Their heads are free, their chests can rise. The fields do not crush, only hold. Restraint confirmed on 3, Malik says. No bone stress readings. The remaining Veskari snarl and fire. Their shots go wild. Smart scopes that would usually correct for shake and angle are still blind from the disruption field. One bolt slams into a drone's armor, scorching it, but not dropping it. Another burns into a cargo stack, sending up a spray of dust and foam. Inside the control room, a guard flinches. "Return fire," he asks. You shake your head. "No," you say firmly. "We do not feed their battle story. No kill shots. No show of power. We stick to process. Keep the drones steady. Bring up more fields." Raxel sees his packmates held. He hears your voice again, calm and flat. "Lethal discharge logged," it says. Timestamp recorded. Visual and thermal data stored. This incident will be reviewed under Council Code. His shoulders sag a little. This is not a hunt, he growls to himself. This is a survey. You almost smile at that. He is not wrong. Another wave of restraint fields rolls forward. This time you tighten the arcs, leaving even less room to move. The Veskari, who try to charge the left lane, hit the drag field harder and stumble. Bands snap up around their lower bodies. They fall, cursing. Raxel is the last free one standing. He looks small now in the floodlights. Just another heat form pinned on your graph. He could make a grand last charge. He could shoot until your drones finally go down. He could scream his clan's name and curse yours. He does not. He slowly lowers his rifle. "Enough," he says hoarsely. "You made your point." Your recorded voice does not change tone. "Please place your weapons on the ground," it says. "Step back and hold your arms away from your body. You are under non-lethal restraint, pending council review." Raxel laughs once. Short and bitter, he shouts at the sky. "No champion? no face. You watch from the control room. You could open a line and answer him. You could step into his story as an equal rival. For a moment, you feel the pull. It would feel good to tell him what you think. To stand as the human who beat the great Veskari hunter. Then you remember your main rule. No duels, you say under your breath. No heroes. No stage. You leave the recording running. Non-compliance will be noted. Your own voice says from the drones, still calm. Injury to yourself or others will increase sanctions. Fine. He spits. He kneels slowly, sets his rifle down with care, and steps back, arms out. The next restraint wave rises and wraps around his legs, then his arms, like fast-forming bands of foam. It hardens with a soft crackle. He tests it. It does not give. Restraint confirmed on leader, Malik says. All vitals stable. Stable, no crush points. In the bowl, the low sound hum fades. The lights stay bright, but their harsh edge softens. The drag field at the hunter's feet relaxes to almost nothing. Only the bands around their bodies remain firm. The canyon is suddenly just a bright, quiet place, with 9 stuck bodies and 4 drones hanging above like bored survey tools. You open a live channel at last. Raxel Vorn, you say, your voice now real and unfiltered. This is Dr. Avery Shaw, Risk and Resilience Officer for Kestrel Hollow. He turns his head, searching for the source. The drones adjust their speakers to make it feel like the sound comes from everywhere. You have been recorded from approach to capture. You continue. Your landing paths, your internal chatter, your weapon discharges, your handling of non-combatants, your reliance on legal loopholes, all of it. We will present this to the council. He bares his teeth. You tricked us, he says. You let that sit. We followed our safety protocols, you say. You followed your sport rules. Our rules held. Yours did not. He shakes his head as much as the bands allow. This was meant to be a test, he says. A brush on the edge of your world. A reminder that you are interesting prey, not just traders. We did not bring fleets. We did not take children. We stayed in the gaps between your laws, and we closed those gaps, you say. Quietly, without killing you, without making you martyrs. You signal the medical team. Malik, you say, bring the sleds in. Elena, send non-lethal security only. Helmets, shields, no heavy arms. On it, Elena replies. On it, Elena replies. Minutes later, 2 ground vehicles ease into the canyon. From the safe approach lane you left open, they move slowly, with lights low, weapons holstered. Medics in sealed suits step out first, scanners in hand. They check each Veskari in turn. They look at limb position, breathing, skin marks where the field's pressed. They apply cool gel to any small burns. They adjust field strength where needed to protect joints. A camera on each medic's shoulder sends clear footage to your logs. Subject 3, a medic says calmly, standing over a snarling hunter. minor field rash on left calf. No deeper damage. Hydration level low, recommending fluid support during transport. You treat us, he says in disgust. Yes, the medic answers simply. You are under our care until council arrival. There is no hate in his tone, no triumph. He sounds the way he would sound over a fallen loader operator with a crushed leg. Raxel watches this, eyes narrowing. No victory roar, he asks you over the channel. No songs. You have beaten a hunting pack on their own ground. You will be famous among your kind. I will file a report. You say, it will be long, with many charts. It will be dry to read. That is enough for me. He laughs again. But there is less power in it now. You are strangling the story, he says quietly. You know that. You are binding it in paperwork until it dies. You let yourself meet that straight on. Yes, you say, we are. The medics finish their checks and signal to the security team. Together, they lift each restrained Veskari onto soft-sided sleds. The fields hold bodies in safe shapes while the sleds glide back toward the canyon mouth. There are no kicks, no blows, no jeers. Your security lead sends a short update. Target secured, she says. Transit to holding bays starting now. No resistance we cannot manage. All teams calm. You nod though she cannot see you. Maintain that, you answer. No photos for private feeds, no side comments. Treat them like accident victims who caused their own crash. Behind you, a younger tech shifts in his seat. We could at least tag the capture feeds for our own history, he says. This was huge. People will want to see. You cut him off with a shorthand. They will see a council recording, you say. A formal record of a safety incident. Not a highlight reel. We do not make a sport of their failure. He looks down, then nods. Outside, the canyon slowly empties. Drones rise higher, pulling back toward their patrol routes. Emitters cool and shut down. The floodlights dim in stages, until the rocky bowl looks almost normal again. Only the faint foam scars on the ground show where fields rose. Canyon sector, clear, Malik says. No live threats. I am pushing full logs to secure storage now. You let your eyes close for a second. The whole event took less than an hour. Once the bait lit its lantern, no one in the colony died. No one from the hunting pack died. The big dramatic fight that would have filled Veskari story pits for years never happened. Instead, there is a neat, complete data trail that shows a predator culture walking into a human-made system and finding itself treated like a risk case. Not monsters, not warriors. Just hazards to be managed and then translated into policy. You open a private recording channel. Incident summary, you say, voice flat and clear. Kestrel Hollow, Veskari sport incursion. Outcome: 9 hunters captured without lethal force. No colony fatalities. Minor injuries only. Primary tools: surveillance mesh, behavioral patterning, non-lethal fields, and legal framing. You pause, Then add one more line. Note to council reviewers, you say. The most serious harm done to the Veskari this day was not physical. It was social. Their great hunt has been turned into a boring safety failure. Recommend we treat this as our main lever going forward. You stop the recording. On a small side feed, you see Raxel in the holding bay, still wrapped in soft fields, sitting on a padded bench. A medic checks his pulse. A council monitor from a nearby system, already patched in by tight beam link, asks him clear, simple questions about his contracts and sponsors. There is no stage here. No roaring crowd, just lights, clean floors, and calm, filling out forms. Raxel looks up at the camera once. He understands, you think. It is not the restraint that insults him most. It is your refusal to play his game at all. The hearing room is bright and almost too clean. No banners hang from the high walls. No trophies line the shelves. A soft, steady light falls from the broad ceiling, the same on every face in the room. The air smells faintly of metal and old paper. You sit at a wide table with Elena on your left and council monitor Sale on your right. Screens and projectors line the wall opposite you, ready to show whatever you put in the record. Outside, Kestrel Hollow circles far below. Just a small world on the edge of trade charts. Up here in the council station, your quiet freight colony is about to become a reference point. Sale's gray fingers tap once on the table to bring the chamber to order. Salespeople have smooth, ridged skin and large, dark eyes that miss very little. Sale's voice is soft but carries easily. Case file 73K. V. Sale says. Subject to Veskari sport incursion on Kestrel Hollow. Presenting witness, Dr. Small. Subject. Beska. Handken. Avery Shaw, Risk and Resilience Officer. Support witnesses, Elena Brooks, Security Chief. Council observers, Mixed Species. Veskari delegation present. Across the room, the Veskari group sits in a tight cluster. They wear formal wraps in dark colors, marked with thin metal bands that show clan and role. Their faces are set in hard, flat lines. Raxel Vorn sits among them, no longer restrained, but flanked by two of his own elders. Field gel still marks faint patterns on his wrists where your bands held him. He looks tired and very awake. Sale turns to you. Dr. Shaw says, "You may begin your account. You stand. Public speaking is not your favorite task. You prefer calm rooms, small groups. But this is not about performance. It is about facts. Data. Patterns anyone can follow. You nod once. We had 12 hours of advance warning in practice, and almost none in truth, you say. Our early detection identified 3 unregistered vessels entering our space on low-profile orbits. Their approach vectors and formations matched known Veskari sport incursion patterns. You signal Malik's prepared feeds. The wall comes alive with slow, clear images. 3 dark hulls slipping out from behind the moon, their engines flaring and fading. The way they broke formation to drop hunting craft toward the night side? A murmur rises in the room, then dies as Sale's hand lifts again. You keep your voice steady. We activated standard lockdown, you say. Our siren sounded once. Residents moved to hardened shelters, according to drill. All non-essential movement stopped. Outer systems powered down to low levels. We did not broadcast distress calls on open bands to avoid feeding the Veskari's expected fear responses. On the screen, a second set of images appears, dome lights dimming, loaders pulling into tight, shield-like lines, people walking quickly but calmly toward inner halls. No running, no waving arms, no chaos. A council member from a water world leans forward. You practiced this, they say. You trained for this exact thing? You meet their eyes. We trained for many things, you say. Hull breaches, fires, chemical leaks, active threats. The pattern is the same. Keep people together, reduce noise, trust systems over impulse. That training translated. Sile nods. Continue. Sile says, you show the next layer. Malik's surveillance mesh warming ants drones rising into the air, static cameras shifting to catch wider views. Old ground sensors coming online. We treated the incursion as a system event, you say. Not as a duel. We did not send champions to face their hunters. We studied their movement as we would study a spreading fire or a toxic cloud. We used behavioral patterning to log their habits. Spacing, pause, intervals, path choices, charts appear now, simple and clear. Lines showing Veskari patrol routes, tiny dots marking each 8-minute check of the old canal, each 13-second rear scan. Some council members look surprised to see so much order in what they thought of as wild hunts. Others nod, already seeing the value. A Veskari delegate snorts. You turn warriors into graphs, she says. How noble, you do not flinch. We turned repeat harm into something we can stop. You reply. Noble or not, it worked. Sale raises a small hand. Delegates will have time for comments, Sale says. Let the witness finish the chain of events. You move to the canyon stage. On the wall, the footage rolls, slower than real time. The hunters entering the narrow cut, their heads turning at false shadows, the dummy lantern bearer swaying ahead of them, the rising hum they cannot hear in this room, but that you describe. We tuned our tools to their senses, you explain. Light bands, sound ranges, motion cues. We did not try to hurt them. We tried to disrupt their story, their sense of a clean, proud hunt. The floodlights fire in the video. The drone square drops. Your recorded voice booms from the speakers. You are now inside a managed safety operation. Some council members smile faintly at the stiff phrase. Others just watch, intent. You show the restraint waves rising, wrapping legs and arms, hardening into safe bands. You show medics moving in with scanners, checking for crush damage, applying gel. Outcome, you say. 9 Veskari. Captured. 0. Dead. on either side. Minor injuries only. Our tools were non-lethal by design. All actions were recorded on visual, thermal, and positional logs. You let the final image hold, Raxil on the sled, eyes staring up at the drones as they carry him out of the canyon. Then you turn back to the council. The most important part, you say, is not how we caught them. It is how we stripped away the sport part of this incursion. There was no glorious duel, no proud kill, no tragic last stand. For the hunters, this ended as a dull safety failure. Under bright lights and calm voices, you tap your console. A side screen shows a simple table, Veskari sport incursions over the last 20 years. Names of small worlds and stations run down the side. Most are minor, some show many dead. The columns for legal outcome are thin. No full case like this exists in the record, you say. Past events ended too fast, or in chaos, or in private deals. This time, we have a full chain. Planning, entry, behavior, capture, care. We can show the whole path from legal loophole to recorded crime. Elena stands now to support you. She points to the last columns. These marks, she says, are where sport incursions later tied back to trade deals, status gifts, and quiet political favors. We followed the supply chains behind this event.